we have an Emblem Ring in holo forms. This is huge. I didn't think this was going to happen for some time, but we have Emblem Marth. We're going to talk about all the different uses for the unit and the ring itself, but we have a lot of other good units as well. Let's dive right into Marth, though.
An emblem's strength.
There's a couple things I want you to pull from this overview, and we're going to dive into the weapon itself, though, but the weapon is really not all that spectacular. It got caught right in the power spike, right before things really started moving to true damage. The stat line itself, though, is pretty good. High attack, high speed. This is a nice foundation for what this unit is going to be, which is a melee nuke. Let's dive right into the descriptions, though. So, Hero Ring Sword, you have Slaying, effective against dragons, stats, and if you total that up on average, it's going to be about 20 per stat, which is not nothing, but is not really what we want right now. You have Pierceable DR, which is nothing right now. And then we have Special Piercing of 50% and Desperation. The only thing I really love about this whole thing is that Desperation. The rest of it, honestly, I'm going to suggest that you get rid of this, because Lodestar Rush is really where everything is at. Now, this has special damage equals 40% of speed, which is good. Null Guard, which is good. Potent Follow 100, though, is actually very good. You're going to get 3 hits, and all of them are going to be at 100%, which, if you know, Potent Follow-Up gets weaker as you go, and that does include true damage. And then you get some damage reduction from that, which is 40%. Overall, I like this. This is a good special, and we're going to be able to keep that as kind of the bones for what Marth is going to be. So I've got 3 different builds for you, and I'm really going to try to push you more towards the nuke builds. I do have to say, the max score of 764, if you have this unit merged up, you can use them in Arena. The problem is they are a lower score, which you take if they can kill things really good, and this thing, he doesn't really. That is not a thing that he's going to be great at right now. We need more infantry skills in order for that to happen, and I do think they're coming, but they're not here right now. Past that, Nuke 1. I've gone 2 different directions with this, and the first is Speed Taker 4 and Endless Tempest. The thing that you're looking at doing right now is really taking advantage of Speed Taker and boosting up your speed as much as possible. Everything in this is kind of circulating around that. What I want to say is that Speed Taker is a little bit overrated. Now, hear me, a little bit. Speed Taker is a very good skill, and it's an excellent B skill just in general, especially for ranged melee units. It's any of the daggers and bows, fantastic. If you compare this to Nuke 2, and in particular Potent Finish, the difference in true damage is about 3 for this kit. Like if you do it all together and pop stuff out, you're getting about 3 more true damage out of Speed Taker versus Potent Finish, and you're getting some other things out of Potent Finish, like some flat DR that are very, very nice. But back to this Nuke 1. Endless Tempest is great if you're going against a lot of buffs, because it does have that dull all, which is amazing. I'm keeping Lodestar Rush. On both of these, I have the Machias ring, so you're hitting 5 times, and all of those are at 100%. I'm really trying to play into that Lodestar Rush advantage there. And of course, Reposition Gate. Switch over to Nuke 2, though, and this attack speed Hex Edge is something that's really fun and on exactly 1 seasonal unit. So you'll be forgiven if you don't remember what Hex Edge does, but if you're within 3 spaces of a Magic Staff or Dragon ally, you get Anathema, which Anathema is a nice debuff, especially if you can get it combined with a whole bunch of other units and really stack that up. But you also get attack speed +7 and +5 damage out of this special, and you get 50% piercing. So this is rare, and it's good, which is perfect, right? So excellent. And then Pulse Tempest F, you get an additional cooldown. What I'm trying to do here is get as many Lodestar Rushes off as possible. And what you can rig here with the additional Pulse is to get it off hit 1, you hit 2, get it hit 3, you have a 4th hit, and then you hit it again, hit 5. Now, you have to have some things go right for you there, and you have to have an extra cooldown at the beginning, but still, That's really nice to get 3 specials off in one, especially when a lot of this unit's damage is going to come from that. Okay, the last one. I know I just said that you're probably not going to want to make this unit a tank unit, but if you are just a diehard Marth fan, if you have all of this other stuff, if you want to just go crazy, this is your standard Gust build. Now, remember, you don't get Arcane Renegade in any of these holoforms. You have to actually summon for that, and it's on Machua, which, I mean, I don't know many people who actually summon on that Thracia banner, so you probably don't have that laying around. What I will say is for sword units right now, Serving Knife is fantastic. You can see I have it on the Nuke 2 build, and really it's the thing you're going to be going after. But for enemy phase, Arcane Renegade is just going to do a lot better job. Let's do a quick just damage analysis on what we're taking here, and flat DR of 7, and that's all coming from Potent Finish. I should have said this is the Nuke 2 build. So this is that Potent Finish build with the Attack Speed Hex Edge and then the Pulse Up Tempest. True damage of 50, and this was, I had to work to get it up to that high. This is something, and that is doable. Like, you're finally at a point where this unit is actually getting stuff off and doing a decent job. So especially if you're getting 5 hits, this is something that can work for you. And then you get a boosted damage of 35, which is just okay.
I'm begging you.
So I really should have had a before and after to show you what I had to work with and what I ended up with. This is decent though. Like, this is nice. And a lot of this is on the back of Serving Knife, which at the most can give you 25 true damage. Now, for the seasoned players among you, you're immediately going off and saying, wait, you haven't explained all of Serving Knife. Don't forget, you have to have bonuses on your unit to get the 25 true damage. So this is assuming that you have 5 of those, which in today's meta is not crazy. And you're already getting 2, one from Anathema, assuming you have the right units on the board, and one from Pulse Tempest F in the form of extra movement. So you only need 3 more. But you can see, like, this is definitely serviceable. This is something that I'm going to be going after and I'm very excited about. Let's talk about the individual skills. So for A skills, we talked about Anathema. That is definitely your priority there. I do think that's better than Sly Swift Sparrow. If you get Sly Swift Sparrow, though, and that's what you end up with, that's not a bad thing. That's still the same amount of true damage, but I think the biggest loss is really that piercing. The other thing is the perfect attack speed. This unit doesn't come with null follow-up, so that is something that you can get, and that's handy. And then, of course, you've got bonus doubler 4. It's my least favorite, but it is up there. As far as B skills, Potent Finish, I think this is the thing you should go for. Speed Taker is still up there. It is one of those things, again, a difference of 3. But it's the same thing with Sly Swift Sparrow versus Anathema. I feel like Potent Finish gets you most of the way to what Speed Taker has. There is the thing there, you get great talent out of Speed Taker, but for the most part, I'd rather have Potent Finish. But if you got Speed Taker, I think you'd be just fine. And of course, if you want to make this a tanky build, you've got the attack speed spiked wall, and you've got the Laguz loyalty. So that is an option for you. As far as the C skills, most of the C skills coming out now for infantry have some kind of extra movement in them. So that's really what you're seeing there. I like Pulse Tempest F best, but that is if you're trying to get as many Lodestar rushes as possible. If you don't have the Erica Ring available, then probably Endless Tempest and Brutal Tempest are very nice. It depends on if you want Dull All or if you want Canto 2. Both of those are good features, and it depends on your playstyle. The last thing there is Breath of Life, because I guess if you wanted to use this as a supportive unit, it's possible. It's not my favorite. I'd rather have the others, but if you get it, I think that's a good thing. For the specials, Gust, Haste Slice, one of those, you're going to be using Lodestar Rush, but I mean, if they're there, just go ahead and grab them. The last thing, and I should have mentioned this before, Serving Knife isn't available in this Holo Forms, but it is on a Grail unit in Finn. So I don't feel too bad about putting that up. We just talked about it, but the thing I'm going after is definitely the Serving Knife, Attack Speed Hex Edge, Potent Finish, Pulse Tempest F build. I think this is a really nice way to build this unit. And it doesn't put this unit at the forefront, but it does make them very usable and a lot of fun. And I mean, that's what the game's about, right? For a very limited time, I've got Best Brave merch up. Go grab it if you want to celebrate your Brave unit and how well they did, because they did a very good job designing all of them this year. But let's get back to the episode and talk more Marth. The last thing we want to talk about is the Emblem Ring itself. And Marth's Ring has Slaying, so you get an additional cooldown off of whatever else you have. And this is permanent on the unit. And then if you have Brave, then you get special damage -8. Keep in mind that is Brave, not Potent. So that is something to keep in mind there. Marth himself doesn't have the special damage -8, so don't worry about that too much. Let's look at the different users of this, and I've got 3 examples here. Honestly, so first up, and I've showcased this build before, but any kind of miracle build you have really loves the Marth Ring, because especially if you get out of, like, this is an infantry unit, and there are lots of ways to get cooldown on infantry units, but if you get into calves and flyers and not so much armors, but sometimes armors, Marth Ring can really help you out there. This is the Johanna Lance build where the opponent comes in and tries to smash you and does, but Miracle saves you, and then you hit back for all of their damage and reflect it, and yeah, good things happen. The second one, this is a build I've been using with Eikthenir on defense and has been incredible. I say that I don't have Diluvial Boost, but that is the ideal here is what you'd have. So this is Aegis and Shield Fighter, and in order to get Aegis to proc on that first hit, you have to have Marth. This is a Shield Fighter thing. And so if the difference between Aegis and Sacred Cowl is not small, and that's what you would have to drop down to if you didn't have the Marth Ring available for the Shield Fighter unit. So just keep that in mind. Past that, I mean, this is Breath of Life, Distant Counter. It's a very fun build, but it all hinges on Marth, and a lot of the Shield Fighter units, if they have Slaying, then they just need that additional Marth Ring in order to be able to use Aegis. It is fantastic and really allows you to resurrect a lot of older units. Next we have BK, and this is hilarious to me. This is the Oblivion special here. He told me about this build and I laughed a lot. So what is going on? So Arch Rival exists now, and so you have to be able to get off Pitch Dark Luna in the face of Scowl -2. And this lets you do that. So you drop one more cooldown for Pitch Dark Luna and make it a 1 cooldown special, and then you can have some supports for Preempt Pulse and still hit back with that and make BK, lucky for us all, still an absolute terror. And yes, that is a Hardy Bearing Seal. I don't want to talk about it. It has gotten me in trouble a couple of times. You BK users are very creative. That's all I have to say.
Do you believe in love?
Harmonic Caeda. Okay, when this unit came out, there was a short time where she was very, very good. And it's that effective against sword, lance, axe, colorless bow, and armored foes. Like, that is, I mean, it's nice. The problem is effective damage is actually coming back, and it's good, but you need true damage along with it. And really, you need every kind of damage you can possibly get, but true damage and more boosted damage. You need to do a lot of damage right now, and this unit is old enough that she does not do a lot of damage. We're going to patch her up, and the big thing that helps her out is all of the cav skills that we have gotten recently. So I'm going to show you what we have. Let's briefly review. We pretty much covered Dolphin, Dive, Axe. You do get some additional stats in Omni +5. Remember when that was a lot? As far as the Harmonic skill, though, and this is important, so you get Resonant Blades, and then you get refreshes 1 ally with the highest HP within 2 spaces. So, I mean, that's nice. If you think about this unit's main use case, that most likely is going to be Resonant Battles. That is really powerful and something that you can use on this unit. And if you can get an extra merge for that, that helps you a ton in that mode. if you are Resonance Battle Nut, and I am, this is very, very good to have. Let's go over the builds though. I've got two here. I've got, the AoE nuke, which AoEs in the standard game have been obliterated. They just continue to lose value. In PvE, such as Resonant Battles, they're very, very nice and still incredibly strong. If you have Blazing Flame, Verge of Death, Momentum 4, and then I've got Odd Speed Wave and Life and Death, you can get off AoE specials and just smack things. This is very, very handy. It's something you can use with Dolphin Dive Axe and just get a little bit of extra damage off of some of these stat boosted and frankly pretty bulky units that they have in Resonance Battles. The other one I have here, I'm calling it the Max Invest. The reason I am is, so Cavs have gotten a lot of good skills. There's no doubt about that, but they still need true damage out of their weapon, and you just don't get it with Dolphin Dive Axe. So enter Arcane Giant Axe. I wish I could give you a free-to-play axe right now. I haven't seen, like, we have Johanna Lance and Serving Knife, and we're waiting for the inheritable axe version of that. And when that happens, we have a lot of fun stuff. As far as the Lull Echo, does it do anything? Honestly, no. But I called it a Max Invest build, and I have Arcane Giant Axe, and if you're going that far, you might as well throw Lull Echo in there anyway. So I'm going to take this build, the Max Invest build, and we're going to dive into some damage analysis here. And so, flat DR of 22. So that's low. A true damage of 40. That's also low, and a boosted damage of 33. This is tough. Altogether, again, this is an old unit. When she finally gets her refine, and seasonals are very, very slow to get refines, I think they have the opportunity to make her a lot better. But as she is right now, this is rough. You really want more out of her unit, or at least one area of green. And that area of green you wanted was true damage. I'll give you the cheat sheet. That's the one you wanted. And she almost gets there, but we talked about how bad Marth was with true damage, and this unit is at 40, which is 10 less than what we had for Marth. So this is tough. And it's tough that I have this as a Max Invest, very expensive build, and you're only getting this. So I want you to keep that in mind. We're going to move on. And that is why I'm really going to be pushing you towards the AoE nuke build. I think if you are using this unit for PvE and Resonant Battles, I think that is just the way to go. Even saying that, get Blue Skies. If you don't have any Verge of Death or even Life and Death 4, Life and Death 4 gets you most of the way through Verge of Death. Blue Skies is not only rare, but it takes 4 inheritance slots. So, get that one. Verge of Death, we talked about it. It is, if you're not going to be able to upgrade at all, take Verge of Death. Slice with Sparrow is okay. I would rather have Verge of Death in this case. And then if you want Attack Speed Excel, that is an option for you. As far as the B skills, Momentum is on 1 unit, and it takes 4 inheritance slots. Is Potent Assault better? In most cases, yes, but in this one, I really like Momentum just for the use case that I think you are going to be using this unit in. So I would go for Momentum there. The Detect skill, I don't know. It's an option. If you wanted to make this a supportive build, for the most part, I don't love that here. But it's available, and it is very good. I tell you to get that on most Cavs if you've just got everything else. As far as the C skills, so I know on the AoE nuke I have Odd Speed Wave 4. I probably would suggest Attack Speed Insight Hone instead. But the null follow-up is really nice, and the additional stats on the speed, so I could go either way. But I really like Insight, Attack, Speed, Hone. So, I don't know. If I'm looking at just a pure build, Odd Speed Wave is probably the way to go. If I'm looking for fun, I'm probably, attack speed and sight hone. But I can't say it enough, like, push for that AoE build. If you're going for the AoE build, you don't have to worry about specials at all. Haste Slice and No Quarter is probably where you're going to be pushing, but if you don't get them, it's not a big deal. And we say it a lot, I try to prioritize what to get. Momentum is the skill for this unit. If you don't get anything else and you get momentum, you can work this unit into your lineup pretty easily. So just keep that in mind. If you only get that, you shouldn't be upset. As far as my suggestion, what I'm going to be going for is the AoE build like we have here. But understand that I'm still going to be going for blue skies, period. That's just, again, it's rare and it takes a lot of inheritance skills, and I'm just going to plan on putting Verge of Death on her from somewhere else. It's a really good skill, and I think you'll be happy with it. So keep that in mind. Also, the Canto works really well with the way she's doing things. It just, Verge of Death is optimal. I like Blue Skies better.
Burn in the pits of hell.
Medeus is up next, and I found out that he was going to be on this Holoforms about 2 months ago. And that was before we got Hother and Balder. And I was very, very excited about him because I still think On Guard is incredibly unique and is very good. And being able to upgrade this unit is fantastic. But there isn't a case where you're going to put this unit over Balder. Just period. And what are you gonna? You're only gonna put 2 Dark Mythics on your team because you need all the firepower you can get. And so, is that going to be Medeus then, or is it going to be Larother or Loki? Loki being one of the best defense mythics that we have right now. This unit is going to be hard to work into your teams right now. I still have some suggestions, but just know that if you were incredibly excited about this unit, I was with you. But as of right now, he's kind of fallen down the ranks for me a bit. Let's talk about Shadow Breath though. Start of turn, unit allies within 2. You get attack speed, attack res +6, and On Guard. On Guard keeps any parasitic damage from happening and any bolt towers from really affecting you. That's pretty fantastic. So, start of combat, if foe initiates or HP is greater than 75%, you get attack res -6 to foe, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack, and then you get adaptive damage on ranged foes. It's not a great preference weapon, but, it's got On Guard, so there it is. Assured Breath, if res is greater than foe's res, you get a guaranteed follow-up, and then you get some flat DR, which is, this is all okay. I just, for the most part though, you're just going to be getting rid of Assured Rebirth altogether. Now, the question in your mind should be, when does this unit get a refine? The answer to that question is it should be around November. Keep that in mind. So, we're going to move on to some builds here. I've actually got 3. So, this is interesting. We have the res debuffer. And what I'm really trying to do with this unit is just stack as much res as possible. And that is, 62 res. This is a +1. So, that's pretty nice. That's pretty good here. The point is that I'm getting debuffs on the enemy in the form of the Havoc, which has a ton of them, and Pulse Up Ploy, which also has a ton of them. And then I've got Ice Wall for some additional DR, and also for this unit to actually hit pretty hard with that. Ice Wall is 80% of 60. That's not a bad hit. Like that's going to be some boosted damage, but that's really the point, is to get that off. The frontliner is interesting, and I have him right now as a ranged frontliner, but you could switch to melee pretty easily. You can see, just switch Aegis for Pavus and you're good to go. But this has Reposition Gate, Aegis, Defense Res Scowl. I'm still waiting for a good Dragon A skill, and I don't have it right now. Lagu's Friend 4, and I am amazed at how much this unit survives with Lagu's Friend 4. I have had this unit be very, very annoying. So understand that is an actual good option. And then Firm Canto Curb Stomp. And then I've got the stats seal. For the annoying build, let me tell you what most people do when they see Medeus. They do their best to leave this unit as the very last unit on the board. Because, I mean, for the most part, he doesn't hit particularly hard. And also, he doesn't have a lot of range. So, I mean, perfect. What this does is try to just screw you over. So, you've got Bulwark, which can really bite you if you're trying to use this unit as, you know, the last one that you have there, because you have to get around it. That combined with Barricade can really limit the mobility and sometimes make it incredibly difficult to either pin units or get everything into just the right place in order to kill all the correct units. So this is legit. This can really, really come back to bite defenses, and I've had it bite me before. I mean, a friend. It has bitten a friend, not me. Some guy I know, definitely. Let's talk about the skills, though. What I have shown here is I've got the Aegis build and I've got the annoying build. And the reason I have a big proceed with caution is because we do have this refine and remix coming up. We think it's in about the November time frame. What that means is this unit is going to get another skill. If I had two guesses, the first one would be Defense Res Scout. The second one would be Firm Canto Curb Stomp. So I am getting a Holoforms skill with this unit that is likely going to be given to this unit on its refine and remix. So this is very much a proceed with caution type of deal. Just understand that. A skills. Scowl. I mean, it's Scowl is not great, but it's kind of what dragons have. And it's not terrible either. Like we complain about it a lot, but it's not just awful. We have fortifications, which fortifications is actually nice. Stronghold is another option that I don't have up here, but that is definitely a good one. And then if you have the res stacked build, you've got the crystalline water, and bonus doubler 4 is there. And honestly, it's you could do bonus doubler 4. I mean, this unit does give out buffs to its teammates, so I mean that's good. But yeah, past that. So B skills. I mean. I'm probably going to put Lagoo's Friend 4 first here. I think that's probably the way to go. Past that, though, I really do, like, the more I look at it, the more I like this spiked wall version. Any of them will do. You're not really adding to this unit's survivability. If someone wants to take out this unit, most likely it's going to happen. So I wouldn't worry about that. But it's the bulwark that you're getting out of it that's the biggest deal. And you do add on a little bit of bulk just to make this unit more annoying. Past that, you have the Havoc skills. And I do want to put High Dragon Wall up there. I had up above, this unit max score is 762. If you are, if you're trying to use this unit in something, and I close your ears, most of you. If you're trying to use this unit for Mjolnir's Strike, then that is very good to have. Okay, the rest of you can open your ears now. C skills. Barricade is definitely up there on the board. And then the other one, the thing is, Barricade is very, very good, but Firm Canto Curb Stomp is probably more useful itself. And it doesn't come up often that the whole, stopping end turn things needs to happen, but when it does, it's pretty glorious. And the other thing with Barricade is its warp inhibitors happen a lot right now. So yeah, that's the thing. Up past that, you have Res Wave D, which has Scowl in it, which is kind of fun. And then you have Breath of Life, which I joked about it on Marth, but for this unit on defense, having an infantry unit is actually very, very good. It's hard to work infantry units in. And so being able to have Breath of Life and being able to pass that around is very good, especially in a season that doesn't have Hathran. Up the specials, Dragon Flame, Ice Wall. If you're going to stack res, get Ice Wall. If you're going to stack defense, get Dragon Flame. And that's kind of the way you want to go with that. If you're asking for what I'm going for, I know that most likely one of these skills is going to be on this unit's Refine and Remix, but I think this is the most useful build that I can get right now. So I'm going to get this. I'm not going to do Aegis. I'm going to do Dragon Flame on this one, so understand that. But this is... I think this is a very useful build and can serve its purpose very well.
I'll blow you away.
They always like to give me a hard one, and Catria was it. But honestly, ranged flyers have gotten better skills than they once had. I've talked about it before, but I was a big Lenja fan. I got her to +10 on the Hero Rises banner, and she was my scorebot for forever, and they gave her nothing for so long. Nowadays, you do have things. Let's go ahead and get there. So for the Holoform skills, honestly, the thing you're going to want to focus in on here is Speed Taker, and that is a big deal. But I do have two different builds. This is an interesting stat line that you can actually go two different ways. You can go the stacking res nuke, or you can go the stacking speed nuke. The res one is interesting. These bows are actually interchangeable, by the way. Stall game has more true damage, but it is based off of bonuses, so you have to get 5 of those. It's the same thing we talked about with Marth, but yeah, again, that's something that is very doable in this meta. But past that, Ice Wall on 58 res isn't bad, and that's with Crystalline Water and Attack Res Havoc, which also has true damage in it, and then Speed Defense Crux. The idea is that you didn't stack speed, so you're going to need to double, but honestly, 54 speed is not bad, so this is a fun build. The speed nuke is, again, I mean, we talk about stacking speed. We've got Snaking Bow, and that adds on speed, and Curve Shot, so that as you're going in, you do get, so we have Piercing with Snaking Bow, so we can use Curve Shot and have DR and help this unit's survivability. And then Slice with Sparrow and Speed Taker for Deadly Miasma is still, after all this time, the best C skill for doing damage. And then Blade Sessions. Everything is about channeling true damage and, you know, getting hits. I briefly looked at, I'm blanking on what the Brave Bow is, but the drop in attack, I didn't love it. It didn't work for me. So that is an idea you could look at, just to understand that. As far as the A skills, I think Slice with Sparrow is probably going to be the thing you are looking for, but this res build is legit, and I'm a little bit on the fence as to which is actually better, so understand that is something, if you want to go for this res build, I think it works pretty well. Attack Speed Mastery, this is a skill that I was really high on when it came out. I almost went and summoned for it just so that I could have the fodder to hand out. And the more I look at it, it's okay. The fact that you have to attack to get the Canto really bugs me, and it doesn't have true damage like the Slice with Sparrow does. Flared Sparrow is an option. That's if you're just going PvE, though. There's so much Breath of Life in the meta now that it's just not doing much. As far as B skills, I've got 3 options for you. Really, there are only 2, though. You've got Speed Taker, which is my personal favorite, but like I said, that is where I lean more towards. That's not to say that Havoc is a bad skill, and the true damage out of that is really underrated. The last thing I have on there is a Trace skill, and I don't love that one. I would prefer you get the other 2, but it is good, and if you get nothing else, then Trace is nice. C skills. Flyers always have a ton of good C skills. Deadly Miasma, if you're attacking, is the best. The Crux skill is great because it helps this unit, and it helps all of the units around it. Keep in mind that there is overlap there between Slice with Sparrow, which does have a guaranteed follow-up, and the Crux skill, which also has a guaranteed follow-up. But the support you get from all of your team around you is quite nice. You get Soaring Guidance and Guidance. They've been around forever. They're still good, even with all of the warp inhibitors. Excellent support skills. The last one, I have Shadow Shift up there, but Shadow Smite is available as well. This is okay. Remember that you have to have Canto for those to really work. So you would have to have the Sigurd Ring or some other way to get Canto in order to really get what you need out of that Shadow Shift skill. It's not my preference here, but if we're talking again about rarity and number of inheritance slots, Shadow Shift is rare and it takes 4 inheritance slots. So we talked about the specials, but Curve Shot, Ice Wall, depends on which build you want to get. If you're asking me, I'm probably going for this Speed Taker build. But again, that's my preference. Like I'm still addicted to speedy units because, you know, way back in the day, that was the only way you could make a unit work really well. Res has become a very powerful stat, so keep that in mind. And if that is more your playstyle, use it and have fun. As far as the upcoming Formas, I have one for you. So we have Celica, and that's it. We will have some fun stuff for her, and I know there are a lot of Celica fans out there, and she has some interesting things to her kit, so we'll get to play. That'll be fun. Let me know in the comments if these are helpful to you. They take a lot of work, and it's always nice to hear which parts of this are helpful because I can steer more into those and kind of mold the episodes around that. If you're looking for guidance on what in the world to do with the Braves, I did an entire video on that and paired up with Medeus. It was a lot of fun. Go check that out. Members, you are amazing. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.